Continuing the classification of meristems. Yesterday we had done in the previous video, basically we did classification of meristems. We said that meristematic tissues can be classified on three bases or three parameters: origin, function and position. We have already done about origin. If you remember, we had done primary and secondary meristematic tissues. On the basis of functions, we had done that formula PPG, that was protoderm, procambium and ground tissues. Today in this video, we will do the classification of meristems based on the position. Okay? On what position on the plant body we find these meristems? On the basis of that, we are going to classify the meristematic tissue. There are three types of meristematic tissue on the basis of position. The first one is apical meristem. What is it? The first one, apical. The word itself tells you apex. Apex means tip. Okay? If you break this word apical, we get the word apex. And apex means tip. So these apical meristems, they occur at the tip of the roots and the tip of the shoots. Always keep in mind, apical meristems, you will find them at the tip. Which tips? Tips of the roots and tips of the shoots. In short, we call it as ram and sam. What do we call them as? Ram and sam. Those apical meristems which are found at the tip of the roots, okay, we call them as ram, that is root apical meristem. And those which are found at the tip of the shoots, we call them as sam, that is shoot apical meristem. So very easy to remember. Where will you find an apical meristem? Just remember ram and sam. Either they are root apical and shoot apical. That means you will find them either at the apex of the root or at the apex of the shoot. During the formation of leaves, elongation of stems, normally what happens is most of the cells of the apical meristems, they are utilized. Where are they utilized? Either in the formation of the leaves or in the elongation of the stems. Most of the cells of apical meristems, most of the tissues, apical meristematic tissues, they are used either in the formation of leaves or in the elongation of cells. But there are very few cells which are left behind. Left behind means after the formation of the leaves, after the elongation of the stem, there are some cells which are still left behind from the sam part. What is sam? If you remember, shoot apical meristem. Now from shoot apical meristem, leaves were formed. From shoot apical meristem, stem was elongated. But still, there are some cells which are left behind from the sam. These cells which are left behind after the formation of the leaves, after the elongation of the stem, some cells which are still left from the sam, they form what we call as the axillary bud. What do they form? Axillary bud. What are these axillary buds now? These buds, they are present on the axils of the leaves. You will find these buds where? On the axils of the leaves. That is why these buds are known as axillary buds. And they are capable of forming the branch of a flower. You know, when you see a flower, it generally is at the last position or at the terminal position of a branch. So the branch of a flower, okay, the branch of a flower, who is responsible for the formation of that branch? Axillary buds. Is it okay? Understand this part again. We said we've got two types of primary apical meristems. They were ram and sam, root apical meristem and shoot apical meristem. Then we went a little more detail about sam, that is shoot apical meristem. Most of the cells of this sam are involved in the formation of leaves or in the elongation of stems. There are some cells which are left behind from sam. Now these cells which are left behind after the leaves are formed, after the stem is elongated, these cells, okay, what do they form? They form buds which are known as axillary buds. Why are they called as axillary buds? Because they are present on the axils of the leaves. And what is the function of these buds? They are present on the axils of the leaves and they form a branch of a flower. Whenever there is a flower which originates, so that branch of a flower, who is responsible for forming the branch of a flower? Axillary bud. And where is the axillary bud being formed from? The cells of the sam which were left after the formation of leaves and the elongation of stem. Moving on to the second kind of meristem based on the position, that is your intercellary meristem. What is it? Intercellary. Those meristems which occur between mature tissues, what are they called as? Intercellary. Those meristems which will occur between which tissues? Mature tissues. They occur in grasses and they can regenerate the parts which are eaten or removed by grazing herbivores. You must have seen in the parks of the garden you've got grass. Sometimes the grazing herbivores, they come, they either destroy they trample or they eat away the upper parts of the grasses. Very soon you will see that the grasses again grow, they regenerate. So this regeneration power of grasses is basically because of which meristems? It is because of these intercellary meristems. Okay. Now listen carefully. These intercellary meristems are found in grasses and they can regenerate the parts eaten or removed by or spoiled by the grazing herbivores. The ram and the intercellary meristems, both of them are called primary meristems. See, when we say primary meristem, it means two, which the ram, that is the root apical meristem, and the second is your intercellary meristems. So which kind of meristems are included in primary meristems? The ram and intercellary. Why are the ram and intercellary called as primary meristems? Because they appear early in the life of a plant and they involve in the formation of the primary plant body. They occur in the initial stage of growth of a plant body and they are responsible for the primary growth of a plant. When I say primary growth of a plant, it means increase in length. Okay, they generally are responsible for increasing the length of a plant. So what are the primary meristems? The ram and the intercellary meristems. Why do we call them as primary meristems? Because they are responsible for growth in length and they occur in the primary stages, that is in the early stages in the growth of a plant body. Now these intercellary meristems, you can find them at different positions. You may find them either at the present, they may be present at the base of a node. Okay? First common position where you will find intercellary meristem is, you will find it at the base of a node. The best example is mint. If you take a mint plant and you see at the base of a node, you will find the intercellary meristems. Intercellary meristems are also found at the base of internodes, like in wheat and in grasses. In wheat and grasses, the intercellary meristems are not found at the base of the nodes. Rather, they are found at the base of the internodes. There is one more position where you can find intercellary meristem, and that is at the base of a leaf, for example, pinus. So what are the three common positions where you will find intercellary meristem? One, base of a node, example mint. Base of an internode, example wheat or grass. And the last at the base of a leaf, for example, pinus. We have done with the second meristem, that is your intercellary meristem. Moving on to the third and the last type of meristem based on the position, that is your lateral meristem. Meristems which are found in the mature regions, lateral, okay, mature regions of the roots and shoots. See, they were found in the early regions, apical meristem. Here, lateral meristems will be found in the mature regions of the roots and the shoots. These meristems are responsible for forming the woody axis. You must have seen in some plants the axis is woody, what you call as bark. So that formation of bark, basically which meristem is responsible? The lateral meristem is responsible. And bark formation never takes place in the initial stage of a plant. You know, initially the stem is green, it is soft. It is only when a tree becomes mature that it converts, the axis becomes woody. So lateral meristems are the meristems which will be found only in which regions? Mature regions. Because they appear after the primary meristems, they are also known as secondary meristems. The lateral meristems are also known as secondary meristems. Why they are called secondary meristems? Because they occur or appear after the primary meristems. That is why we call them as secondary meristems. They are generally cylindrical in shape. The lateral meristems are generally cylindrical in shape. Examples are fascicular cambium. If you remember, I told you yesterday the cambium between two vascular tissues. So, what are the examples of lateral meristems? First is your fascicular cambium. Second is your cock cambium. Is it okay? And lateral meristems generally produce the secondary tissues. The lateral meristems are responsible for producing which tissues? Secondary tissues. Okay? We call them as secondary meristems. They produce secondary tissues. Now we have done the classification of meristems. Three we did. First was on the basis of origin, primary and secondary. Primary were the ones which were found in early embryonic stages, and secondary the one which were found in the later stages of development. On the basis of function, we had the formula PPG, protoderm, which led to the formation of epidermis, procambium, which led to the formation of primary vascular tissues, and the ground tissue, which led to the formation of hypodermis, cortex, endodermis, and pith. So we are done with the classification of meristems. Beta, there are two words which frequently come in chapters, that is primary tissue and secondary tissue. Although you know about it, but 1 minute let me tell you a bit about it in case you don't know or you just want to revise. We basically classify all the plant tissues into two basic categories, that are primary tissues and secondary tissues. So whenever you come across the word primary tissue, secondary tissue, like if you remember just now in lateral meristem, I told you lateral meristems produce secondary tissues. Now what are these secondary tissues we should know? Okay beta, I just told you when I did lateral meristem, I said they produce secondary tissues. So we should know what are primary tissues and what are secondary tissues. You may be knowing. Just a revision of what it is. Now in plants we basically have two tissues. They are primary and secondary tissues. When we say primary tissue, we mean the epidermal tissues, outer tissues like skin, outer covering of a plant, or the vascular tissue and the ground tissue. So basically three categories will come in primary tissue. The epidermal tissues, that means the outermost covering, the vascular tissues and the ground tissues. Please remember. Okay, once again with me. What are primary tissues? The epidermal tissues, that means the outer skin. Epidermal tissues, vascular tissues and ground tissues. Ground tissue I had already told you, hypodermis, cortex, endodermis, pith, all of them are ground tissues. So whenever I say primary tissue, I mean three categories of tissues. Epidermal tissues, vascular tissues and ground tissues. And when we say secondary tissues beta, and also remember that all plants have primary tissues. All of the plants will have which tissues? Primary tissue. There is no plant which will not have primary tissue. Obviously all plants will have an outer covering. It is thin normally, and of course they'll have vascular tissues, and of course they're going to have ground tissues. So these are the primary or the basic requirements which are found in all tissues. Which ones? Epidermal tissues, vascular tissues and ground tissues. We call them as primary tissues, and all the plants, they have primary tissues. The second word is the secondary tissue. I had mentioned the lateral meristems, they produce secondary tissues. These secondary tissues, they result from the lateral growth. Lateral growth means sideways growth. These tissues only occur in those plants which are woody, that is dicots. Basically, they will occur in which plants? The woody plants that are dicot plants, where the growth is lateral, sideways. Think about a dicot big tree. The branches are lateral branches. There are a lot of growth is there sideways. Lot of sideways branching you will find. So secondary tissues result from the lateral growth, that is the sideways growth. What happens is that there are some herbaceous plants. They have these, see beta, herbaceous plants, they generally don't have the secondary tissues. We call them as stem. We don't have barks over there. So, and the side growth is also very less. The lateral growth is not there. So herbaceous plants will only have primary tissue, they will not have secondary tissue. But when we talk about woody plants like dicots, they have secondary tissues. Okay, what is the function of these secondary tissues? They increase the girth of a plant, G-I-R-T-H. Girth is the thickness or the width. If you compare a banyan tree with a rose tree, you will understand the difference. Think about the stem of a rose plant, think about the bark of a banyan tree. Think about the girth, that is the width or the thickness of the stem, and you think about the girth of a banyan tree. You will understand here. So all the woody plant, that is dicots, they have secondary tissues. These secondary tissues, they increase the girth, okay, of a plant. They grow the cock cambium. They lead to the formation of the growth of which cambium? Cock cambium. I will be taking up this cock cambium in detail in a separate video in this chapter itself. So just remember here that cock cambium grows and this leads to the formation of the bark. So wherever you have big trees like dicots, wherever your stem is in the form of a bark, it is woody, you should understand that this plant has both primary and secondary tissue. But if there is a small herb which has only soft green stems, there is not much of lateral growth, sideways growth is not there, okay, you will find that these are only having the primary tissues. Primary tissues are present in all plants and secondary tissues are present only in the woody plants. Woody plants will have both primary and secondary tissues. Okay, thank you.